Hey guys, I'm Nolan Gottlieb and I am so excited to be able to walk you through the final product of the house that I introduced to you months ago in the previous video. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the process from beginning to end. I'm going to tell you the story of how I found the house, how we purchased it, what the purchase price was, how much everything cost to renovate, and finally, how profitable it is once we're done. A little bit of backstory. I came across this property when I had just become a realtor, new in the industry, and I was riding around just looking at properties, looking for something to drum up some business. And obviously when I drove by the first time, the house was in bad shape. Like, it was grown up, you could hardly see it from the road. The bushes were, super messy. The grass had not been cut in years. So those are some of the things that immediately jump out at you as you're driving by to let you know that this could potentially be a good investment property. There's a lot of deferred maintenance, and for somebody that's not an investor to come in and try to fix this up, I mean, it's just a lot of work for somebody who's wanting to live here. So more than likely this was going to become some sort of investment property. I couldn't immediately locate the owner, so I went into public records and did some research and sent him some handwritten letters. But I eventually made contact with him through Facebook. As it turned out, this was an estate, and the guy that was the executor of the estate was doing this for his mom, who had passed away years ago. This was the house he grew up in. This was his childhood home. He was open to selling it, but it wasn't like he was wanting to give it away. I knew that this wasn't just going to be come in and lowball. There had to be some sort of relationship built between myself and the owner, to make sure we found a price that would work for both of us. So what we did was we negotiated back and forth and came up with a contract price. And just to give them some peace of mind, we also got an appraisal. And the agreement that we had was that if the contract price and the appraisal price were different, we would just meet in the middle. So in that negotiation, the contract price was $100,000. The appraisal price came in at around $115,000. So the price we closed at was $108,000. So once we closed on the property, it pretty much was an entire renovation job. There was water intrusion in the basement. There were leaks everywhere. The roof needed to be replaced. We had to replace the insulation. We removed a wall, and the house needed rewiring and new gutters and new HVAC. It was a complete renovation. So with any residential investment, the potential value is always based on the houses around it. When we ran comps, we saw houses anywhere from the high 200,000s to the low 400,000s. And in my estimation, I figured the value, the ARV, the after repair value, to be $290,000 at the time of purchase. When we look at a deal like this, I like to factor my all-in cost to be around 70% of the after repair value. All right, so our purchase price ended up being $108,000, and I estimated the rehab to be $90,000. But what ended up happening is there was a purchase price of $108,000, and because of some of the unforeseen things, we ended up spending about $220,000 on the rehab and the furnishings. But by the time we were done with the project, the property ended up being closer to $350,000 ARV than it did $290,000. We did end up spending more than I had originally anticipated, but that was okay because our intention was to keep this long-term anyways, and I wasn't pressured to have to sell it at a certain time and rely on the market's ups and downs to be able to get my money back. Another great part of this is that we were able to get bank financing for the purchase price and the rehab with only a 20% down payment. Okay, so this is obviously the main room. Originally, there was a wall that went from right here all the way over, and it divided the kitchen from the living room. We busted that wall out and opened it up, so this is a very open, just an open floor plan concept, and I think it turned out great. All right, we were able to keep the appealing features of the house while we removed all the stuff that was dated and just needed to be repaired. We wanted this to be an exciting, bold house. We went with black cabinets, which I know is a risky move, but I think it worked here. We've got quartz countertops. This was an idea. We were in Floor and Decor one day and I happened to see this tile and I thought that it could look cool in a black kitchen. So we bought a bunch of it and put it up as the backsplash in the kitchen. Gold fixtures. I mean, it's a pretty basic kitchen, but I think what sets it off is it being open and these huge windows. These were original windows that we're able to salvage. So these open up like this, which when we first bought it, these were almost non-functional. And we did a lot of work cleaning them up and making them to where we could keep them in the house. I think it has a cool mid-century look. Another thing that we've done on all the renovation projects that we've done so far is use local artists to kind of give the properties some a local flair and support the local art market. All right, so this is the garage. Now, originally, this wall right here was the entrance into like a utility room, but we took out the door, walled this over, and now this is one of the focal points of the house. This is a mural that one of the local artists here in Athens painted, and I think it fits in with the vibe and adds some curb appeal. This is the pencil sharpener. The owner told me about this and I had to keep it. So the quick story is, when the owner lived here growing up, he would come home from school, do his homework at the kitchen table, and whenever his pencil got dull, he would have to sharpen it by hand. He eventually did that enough where he begged his dad to put a pencil sharpener like he had at school out here on the carport. So that's what he did, and it's been here ever since. And I thought it would be crazy for me to take this off, especially when I can tell that story about the original owner. We knew kind of from the very beginning that we wanted to keep the pink and green tile upstairs in the bathrooms, just because it kind of gave a glimpse into the past of what this house used to be. But we also knew that we could kind of use some local artwork to make it something that was like relevant and trendy and modern for today's guests. The bedrooms, we went with a kind of a mid-century furniture vibe in here. Some of it's more new, some of it's actual mid-century furniture. But we wanted a clean, simple, bold, fun room. Downstairs bathroom, exactly the same as the upstairs bathroom, but this is original blue tile instead of the pink. Again, we gave the artist just kind of an idea of what we might like, and we said, make it work. The only difference between these and upstairs is these are a little bit smaller, so we put queen beds instead of king beds, but we have the accent walls or the focus walls, whatever you want to call it. New mid-century furniture. So obviously with any investment, you want it to be profitable, which this one is. But I think this one's extra special because we were able to see this property transform to what it is today from how bad it was originally. When we drove up, the grass was out of control, the house was in disrepair, and to be able to see it as it sits today is just very rewarding and super fulfilling, and I'm thrilled with the way it turned out. From an investment standpoint, this was probably my 4th or 5th property. We did end up spending more than I had originally anticipated, but that was okay because our intention was to keep this long-term anyways, and I wasn't pressured to have to sell it at a certain time and rely on the market's ups and downs. We cash flow about $2,000 a month, which makes our ROI, or cash on cash return, about 70% without doing the burn method. So thank you so much for sticking with me through this journey. This has been very exciting for me. I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. If you don't mind liking this video and subscribing to the channel, and let me know that you like content like this, then I will try to do more of this. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have.